Okie dokie. All right, thank you guys so much for coming. Welcome to my lasting happiness workshop. So when I originally came up with this whole system, this whole idea, I think I called it a goal setting workshop. And then I kind of was like thinking, oh, maybe it's a manifestation workshop. It originally started as my inspiration series, but it's really kind of taken shape over, oh my goodness, I guess the past 4.5 months since I really came up with the idea and got it up and running. So thank you so much for being here. This has taken me a little bit longer to get my workshop together than I expected. I know I postponed it once just to make sure that I was prepared, and I am still extremely nervous. So thank you so much for being here and for your support. It just means so much to me. And so I am going to get started just by introducing myself. So my name is Shannon Chavez. I am the owner of Shannon-Chavez Production and Eureka Studio. I'm a filmmaker, a photographer. I started a podcast in 2020, and I kind of found my place in the wedding industry about 4.5 years ago after leaving a job that I didn't really love in the news industry. So after I graduated college from Duquesne University in 2014, I had a job all lined up and ready to go as the morning anchor and reporter for a station in Bridgeport, West Virginia. And so after a little bit of time there, kind of struggling with what I kind of wanted to do next. I kind of built up the courage and finally decided to leave because I really wasn't very happy there. I moved back to Pittsburgh and I started my own business. And it's just really my mission now to help you find purpose in your passions, to unlock your highest potential and to manifest your dream life, because I know that you are worthy and capable of having absolutely anything and everything that you've ever wanted. And I feel like I have been on a long journey of discovering who it is that I am and what I want in my life. And I really just feel like the key to lasting happiness is finding and fulfilling a life's purpose, specifically your life's purpose. And I think that it can be really confusing trying to figure that out, and it could take a long time to get there. So before we dive in, I just kind of wanted to start with a couple of grounding deep breaths together. And if you guys don't mind, just make sure that your microphones are muted just for a little bit. And then I am going to open up the conversation a little bit later just to make sure that we all have a chance to celebrate together and toast to all of the exciting things that are going on in our lives. And I'm also just going to make sure that my phone is turned down too. And I'm also recording this, so hopefully that's okay with everybody. And there aren't as many people here as I expected, and it's definitely my fault. I haven't done as great of a job of promoting this as possible. And I also picked a Friday at 5 o'clock, which at the time I thought, oh, great, everyone will be ready to have a drink at the end of a week. We can celebrate together. But I also realized that now that the world is starting to open back up, I'm sure that there are lots of places to be and things to do and people to see on a Friday night. So for those of you that are here listening live, thank you again. And anyone who's tuning in later, let's just take a few minutes together to kind of shake out any tension. I know I have a lot of nervous energy built up, so let's just take a couple of deep breaths together. So go ahead and just get settled into your seat. Soften your gaze, close your eyes, and take a couple of deep breaths. Just start to pay attention to the quality of your breath. Let that affect your posture. Sit up nice and tall. Maybe raise your shoulders up to your ears, roll them a little bit, and then let them relax. And we are just going to take a couple of big, deep breaths together. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath in.
Hey, what's up?
And a big sigh out.
Hey.
Hey, Maddie. I'm gonna mute her. Okay, we're gonna start one more time with a nice deep grounding breath together. So go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath. And one more. And go ahead and bring your hands together at your heart. And you can go ahead and bow your head to your heart. Take this time just to set an intention for our workshop today. Set an intention for the rest of your evening. And all I ask is that you come with an open heart and an open mind, a willingness to learn and grow together. So let's take one more deep breath in together with a big sigh out. Okay, go ahead and bring your hands down and slowly open your eyes. And maybe take a second to just kind of look away from your screen. I know that it might be a little bit bright, especially with this bright white background. But so before we dive in, I just kind of want you to imagine this. So you know the feeling. You fall in love with your daydream. The thought of it keeps you awake at night. You're just bursting with ideas. And you finally start telling people about your idea. You start mapping out a plan. And out of nowhere, all of a sudden, it just seems like the stars align and everything starts to shift. You begin to notice the right people and the right opportunities popping up in your life. And the next thing you know, you've brought your dream to life. You are on top of the world, your heart is full, and you just can't help but smile. And you just feel this deep sense of satisfaction and fulfillment in your soul. Um, and you're at peace. And I think that's just a feeling that I know that I am always striving for, and that I'm constantly trying to manifest in my life. So how do we make sure that we're accomplishing our goals and we're getting this feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction all the time? Well, that's really what I want to walk through today, and that is really the whole point behind this workshop. I have created an 8-step system um, that is going to help you to manifest a beautiful and fulfilling life. Because I feel like that is really just kind of what we're all searching for. We all want happiness, I think. I know that's what I want. So I've come up with an 8-step system to help you set actionable and attainable goals that lead to real results. Results that leave you feeling fulfilled and aligned with your life's purpose. And so, although I've broken this down into 8 steps, we can really kind of sum it all up in just 4. So here's just kind of a look at what we're going to be going over through this, in this system and through this workshop today. So we're going to find purpose, we're going to set intention, and then eventually we're going to feel ready to take action, and we're going to celebrate results. So I really, really want you to get to the bottom of what you want and why you want it before you start to take any drastic actions. I know that we can all get kind of caught up in setting goals, in trying to be more, trying to do more. I think I have a tendency to even kind of look at people who are inspiring to me and see what they're doing, my role models and my mentors, and I try to emulate what they're doing because I think, oh, like that looks really interesting. Like that's something that maybe I would want to do. Maybe that's going to give me a sense of purpose. But I think that sometimes if we don't really stop to ask ourselves what it is that we're working so hard for, why we have kind of set certain goals or resolutions for ourselves, we might end up realizing at the end of the day that we've worked really hard and we've ended up achieving something that wasn't really aligned with our life's purpose or what it is that makes us truly happy. So that's going to really be the foundation. We're going to come up with this dream, and we're really, really going to create like a clear mental picture of it. And we're going to find purpose in that dream before we start to take any kind of action. And then we're going to set an intention. We're going to make an unchangeable decision to pursue our happiness. I just really want you to come up with this dream that is so big that it scares you. And I think a lot of the time when you have a dream so big and it can be really scary, there can be a lot of things that end up getting in the way, a lot of limiting beliefs that can slip back in and kind of hold us back. So, what are some ways that we can really make sure that we're affirming what it is that we want? And something that I've kind of come up with is sharing it. So I was terrified to host this workshop today, so scared that I even postponed it a month, which I think actually ended up making me even more nervous after having a whole nother month to think about it and kind of put things off. But I'm so happy that I made this commitment and that I told people that I was going to be here hosting this workshop today, because it kind of gave me more reason to show up and to do it. So commit to showing up for yourself like you'd show up for somebody else. And then step 3 would be to take action. Purposeful and intentional action is the kind of action that leads to sustainable results that are actually going to move the needle forward and drive us closer to our dreams. I have a tendency to overextend myself, to have all of these crazy ideas and things that might be good ideas, but some that might not be such great ideas. But I start to take action on them anyway, and I start to work really hard and I end up burning out. So I want to make sure that before you start to do all of that work, that you're really honing in on that purpose, and that you have a clear intention for the action that you're taking, so that, at the end of the day, you have achieved something that actually makes you feel happy and fulfilled and satisfied. And last but not least, we have to celebrate our results, and not just any results, but the kind of results that make us feel really good. No matter how big or how small, if it's a step in the right direction, then celebrate, and then you're going to kind of start the whole process over again. So goals involve purpose and intention. They provide us with direction when we're working towards a desired outcome. And if we want to achieve results that lead to real progress, we have to take action. But more importantly, we have to keep the object of our ambition at the center of every decision that we make. So, what exactly is a goal? And I realized I didn't actually put the definition here, but I have it posted right up on my board above the computer. So, by definition, a goal is the object of a person's ambition or effort. It's an aim or a desired result. So, like I said, goals provide direction when we're working towards a desired outcome, something that we want to achieve. So, setting intentions backed by clear purpose will keep you motivated and on track when it comes time to take action. So, as you kind of see in this little Venn diagram here, when your purpose and your intentions start to overlap, that's where your goals are born. So, when I came up with this idea, it was at the end of 2020. We were shifting into 2021. So we were at the beginning of a new year, and I had my New Year's resolutions on my mind. And so that's kind of how I came up with this reasoning and this process. So I started kind of thinking, well, what's the difference between a goal and a resolution? Well, a resolution is a firm decision to do or not to do something. It's the decision to take some kind of action. So intentional action without purpose can definitely lead to results, but are they going to be the kind of results that you really wanted? And so, does anyone have an example, from your life that you might be willing to share. And I know we have a small group, so it's totally okay if no one wants to share right now. But if you do, feel free to unmute yourself and let me know that you want to just kind of talk a little bit about it. But so think of something from your life when maybe you achieved a goal that you set out to achieve, but you really didn't get the satisfaction that you were hoping for. Um, for example, I feel like as a wedding videographer and photographer, in that industry, I hear people all the time, striving to hit a certain number of weddings that they're going to shoot that year. So maybe they want to shoot 30 weddings, maybe they want to shoot 40 weddings. But yes, that's definitely an intention behind an action. So like they're working towards uh, something very specific. And for me, I think I used to kind of do that too. I thought like, oh, I want to shoot this number of weddings this year. But then once I ended up booking myself up with all of those weddings on weekends where I was missing out on um, family time and time with my friends. I was even starting to miss other weddings and friends that I was invited to. And so I think that at the end of the day, I realized, well, I was working really, really hard to book up all of these weddings and events, but I didn't really end up achieving the fulfillment or the satisfaction that I wanted to out of that, because what I really wanted was more freedom. I wanted more money so that I could have more freedom to live my life, to go on a trip, to go on a vacation. But then I didn't have the time to do that because I booked myself up so much. Hi, Eva. Thank you so much for hopping on. I know that you are having dinner with your family tonight, and you're someone that's just a role model to me. And I really love the boundaries that you set and that you always make sure that you're making time for those things that are really important. So, hi, Eva. Thank you so much. All right. So, I am going to hop over to the next slide. So, just kind of to sum up everything that I was just talking about here, it's when purpose, intention, and action all come together that we kind of get to that sweet spot. So, success is really just the accomplishment of an aim or a goal. And you can definitely achieve success by taking action without purpose or intention. You can definitely achieve whatever it is that you set out to achieve if you didn't really have a clear purpose behind it, but you maybe just decided to take some kind of action. But I think that when we really combine all three of these things, that's whenever we're going to start to get closer to our dreams. So, you don't want to achieve the kind of results, or I said, I'm so sorry. um, so it's going to take a combination of purpose, intention, and action to achieve real sustainable results that deserve to be celebrated. And so I think that sometimes we kind of act from a place of having purpose, but we don't really have a clear intention yet. We're not really sure what it is that we're working towards. So when you have a goal, but really maybe like the big picture dream or what it is that you really, really want in life isn't crystal clear yet, acting from a place of purpose is definitely a great place to start. I love just to encourage anyone to follow their heart. I always try to trust that my intuition is leading me in the right direction. And, this is really going to get you somewhere when you're acting from a place of inspiration, from a place of purpose. But I think it might be a slow process. And I think that if you want to kind of save some time and energy and speed up the process a little bit, you can streamline it by getting really intentional. And so I've kind of broken down those 4 fundamental steps into 8 actionable steps that we can kind of work on together. And so, like I mentioned before, this whole idea started out as my inspiration series, something that I was sending out once a week to my email list as a way just to help them achieve their goals and to find true and lasting happiness, to begin to manifest the lives that they want for themselves. And so I kind of broke it down into an 8-week process, but I actually just changed it into an 8-step challenge, and it's just all done in 8 days. So if you want, you can definitely go in and sign up for extra email support, so that you can get one of these steps delivered right to your email inbox once a day. And that way it can really kind of help you to stay on track. But you can really dive into this at any point, and the whole process isn't really meant to be completed just once. It's kind of something that you're going to circle through. It's really more of a cycle, something that you're going to build on, and you're going to constantly keep checking in with yourself. So I really just want you to fall in love with the process, fall in love with checking in with your goals, checking in with how you're spending your time, so that at the end of the day, you are really attracting the things that you want to see in your life. So here's a closer look at my 8-step process. So number 1 is dream. And in this phase, we're going to tap into our intuition and check in with ourselves more often. We're going to really focus on the things that light us up with energy, the things that leave us feeling really good. Because I think when you're feeling good, you're kind of emitting higher vibrations, and you're more in tune with your heart, with your gut instincts, and you're just going to start to have enlightened ideas when you're really taking care of yourself, when you're getting enough rest, and when you're making time for the things that really, really light you up. And so then once we make sure that we have kind of really checked in and we've taken the time to nourish our minds and our bodies and our souls, then we can really start to design what we want our life to look like. So we're going to visualize our dream life and create a clear mental picture in step 2, design. Then we're going to move into step 3, which is dedicate. And we're going to dedicate our aspirations to a greater purpose, something outside of ourselves. Then we are going to make an unchangeable decision to go for it. Step number 4 is decide. Step 5, develop. We have to start to map out a strategic plan. That's really going to kind of give us the confidence to start to take action, to really start to bring those dreams to life. When we have a clear and strategic plan ready to go, I think that's just going to give us more courage to take those first steps. So we're going to be doing a whole lot of mindset work and then some planning, but we don't want to get stuck there too long. You know, at some point we kind of have to start to put in the work and start to take the action. And I think that sometimes when we get all of these big ideas and we're working towards a really big dream, it can start to feel really overwhelming. And there's no way that we can do it all. So don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. We're going to kind of talk about delegating tasks, and even delegating some of the stuff that you feel like you can't do yourself to someone else, kind of starting to ask for help and to reach out. And then also delegating a day and a time to sit down and really start to take action and deliver whatever it is that you promised yourself you were going to do. So that's number 7, deliver. At some point, we have to show up with what we've got and follow through on our promise to ourselves or to whoever we made a promise to. If we did, affirm it to the world and start to tell people about our ideas, we want to show up for them. But I think most importantly, we need to show up for ourselves, so that we have the energy to keep going, so that we know that it helps us to believe in ourselves, I think, when we actually follow through with the things that we set out to. And when I first came up with this whole process, I left this step out, step number 8, but I realized I had to add it in later, because we have to celebrate. We have to make time to pause and to reflect and really just rejoice over every step that we take in the right direction. I think a lot of the time we might want to wait until we've accomplished our goals to really be proud of ourselves, but we have to remember that there's just a lot of joy to be celebrated in that whole journey of getting there. So that is step 8. That's just kind of a look at the 8-step process. And now we're gonna kind of dive into each one of those individually, and we're actually gonna start to workshop a little bit and to journal a little bit. So if you have a notebook, make sure you get a pen and a piece of paper and maybe jot down some of these ideas. And if you don't worry. This is being recorded and you can always go back and watch it later, but we're also going to be sending out the slides from this presentation so that you can go back a little bit later and make sure that you really take all the time that you need to work through the process. So achieving your wildest dreams is going to require focus, patience, consistency, and self-love. And I really, really want to emphasize the self-love part of things. And I'm going to move this over to this side so that everyone can see. But so a few things that you can do just to make sure that you're taking good care of yourself and that you're really in tune with your intuition, you're in touch with your highest self, your truest self, the person who should be deciding what actions you're going to be taking moving forward and what kind of life that you want to be attracting, then here are a few things that you can do. So you need to make time to slow down, to reflect, and to nourish your mind, body, and soul on a regular basis. You can surround yourself with people who lift you up. And you can get fresh air and exercise. I really believe that when we're feeling healthy and we're feeling energized, that's when our inspired ideas are really going to come through. And that's what's going to make us feel good and ready to kind of keep going and taking these big steps towards our biggest dreams. You can also just try something new and creative just for fun. I think that as an entrepreneur, a lot of the time I look to my passions and think like, oh, I really want to be able to monetize those passions because I want to have a job that I love. And, you know, they always say like, if you do what you love, then you never work a day in your life. But I think that sometimes we forget just to do things for fun, especially as an entrepreneur, as someone who sees that I have this potential to kind of lead and to like, you know, have a business where I can like make a profit that allows me to live a free and like relaxed and enjoyable life. I end up trying to work really hard to like start a business doing something that I have a passion for. But I think that we need to remember we can do things just for fun. And so if you don't have any like hobbies that you like to do right now that you can think of off the top of your head, just try something totally new and get kind of creative with it. And then last but not least, we have to rest when we're tired. We have to make time to recover so that we're not burning out, because I think that's when we start to lose sight of our biggest dreams, when we're feeling really tired and run down. So definitely make sure that you're getting lots of sleep and that you're resting, because you're always going to have a chance to start again. The sun will rise and we'll try again. Okay. So now think about this. What is something that lights you up? When you're feeling good, you're more likely to come up with enlightened ideas that fire you up and propel you forward to a happier and fuller life. So if you have your notebook, then go ahead and just maybe jot down a few things that make you feel good, things that inspire you, things that give you energy and that make you happy. And, you know, while we do that, I'm just going to play a little bit of music, and go ahead and just take a couple of minutes to write down some of the things that you can think of that just make you feel really good, or that give you energy, that make you happy, or that inspire you. And I'm going to do the same thing. And once again, at the very end of our presentation, I'm going to kind of open up the conversation and we can all just chat a little bit about some of these things that we wrote down, but just take a couple of minutes to think about some of the things that make you feel good and write them down so we can go over them later. All right. So now we are going to kind of move into the next step. And you know what? I'm just going to keep the music going because we're going to keep kind of workshopping here for our next few slides. So I always like to say, make a mess, clean up later when you're designing your dream life, because we, I think, can sometimes get caught up in feeling like we have to have a really, really clear idea of what we want. Or maybe sometimes we don't even think about it at all. But when you're designing what it is that you want, go ahead and just start to write down anything that you think might be something that you'd like to see in that dream life. What is your life going to look like? What's the desired outcome of all of this work that you're going to put in? How are you going to feel when you receive everything that you've ever wanted? So take a few minutes just to kind of reflect on that and to write down some notes, because I always just like to make sure that before I'm setting any goals or making any resolutions, that I'm taking lots of time to figure out exactly what it is that my heart wants, what sets my soul on fire. And so here you're going to really be thinking about the big picture. So start to think about how you want to feel. Think about just all of those things that make you feel good that you kind of wrote down in the last exercise, and see if maybe you can incorporate some of those things into your dream life, because isn't that really the dream, just to be happy and to feel good all the time? So go ahead and just take a few minutes to journal a few things down that come to mind. All right, so this is an exercise that I found in another like group mentorship program that I was a part of. And it's called the 7 layers deep exercise. So this is something that I want you to try. And I feel like you might already have a goal in mind now that we've just kind of gone through those first couple of exercises, starting to visualize what our dream life is going to look like. And you know, we can go back later and really hone in on that vision and start to get really detailed with it, and really start to focus on that. But before we do that, I think we should just start with the desired outcome. So begin with your aspiration. What do you want? What is it that you are hoping to achieve? If you're setting a goal today, what would it be? And so I just did a little example here. for the exercise. And I wrote, I want to host a weekly podcast. So the next step would be to ask yourself, well, why is it important to accomplish that goal? So I asked, why is it important for me to host a weekly podcast? And then I wrote down, well, because I want a platform where I can connect with my audience. Well, so let's dig a little deeper. Why is it important for me to connect with my audience? Well, because I want to share educational resources with them. So why is it important for me to share educational resources with them? Because I want to inspire and empower them. And then let's take it another step further. Well, why is it important for me to inspire and empower people? Because I want to help them find purpose and lead fuller lives. Well, why is it important to me to help them lead fuller lives? Well, I wrote because I find fulfillment in helping others find fulfillment. And one more time, why is it important for you to feel fulfilled? Because I'm a happier, more energetic, and ultimately a better person and better able to serve my family and my community when I'm feeling fulfilled. So this exercise is really just going to get you really clear on your why. I think that purpose is what's really going to be the driving force that propels you forward when you're working towards a really big goal. So make sure that you keep asking yourself and checking in with yourself why it is that you want what you want. Why is this your goal? And let's get really clear on that so that then we can come up with a clear plan and we can make sure that this is actually something that we want to put our work towards and our energy and our effort into. So I started with a goal that said, I want to host a weekly podcast. And after this 7 layers deep exercise, ended with, I want to host a weekly podcast because I'm happier, more energetic, and ultimately a better person and better able to serve my family and my community when I'm feeling fulfilled. So go ahead and complete this exercise whenever you have time. You can always go back in and really work on this and dive a little deeper later, because I think that it's something that you should spend some time on and you don't want to rush through. So I love this quote. This is one that I have up on my vision board. You must first have the knowledge of your power. Second, the courage to dare. And third, the faith to do. So this is Charles Haanel. And a couple of years ago, well, actually, oh my goodness, 5 years ago now, I took a program. This is very, very old, like from like the early 1900s, I think. But I listened to it as an audiobook, and it's called the Master Key System. And after the presentation, I'm gonna make sure that I send out the slides from this with a couple of recommendations for you, and I'll make sure that I link to this too. But the Master Key System was just like kind of a program that really, really helped me to start to figure out what it was that I wanted. And that was before I left my job in West Virginia and decided to come back. But I loved this quote. I'll just read it one more time. You must first have the knowledge of your power. Second, the courage to dare. And third, the faith to do. So this is so important. Once you have figured out what it is that you want, you have to make an unchangeable decision to go for it. No matter how scary it is, you just kind of have to believe and act as though it's impossible to fail. You're going to have the faith that things are just going to work out, and you have to go for it. So make an unchangeable decision to pursue your happiness. Now that you've got a clear vision of what you want and why you want it, it's time to let go of limiting beliefs, kick fear to the curb, and decide that nothing can stand in your way. Your natural instincts are going to guide you in the right direction. So don't overthink it. Just trust your gut and make that decision and make that commitment. So go ahead and take a minute to write out your goal in the present tense as if you've already accomplished it. This is kind of my secret to writing affirmations. I love positive affirmations. I love daily affirmations. I write things down all the time, like I'm in harmony with the universe. I'm aligned with my life's purpose. And I write it in the present tense because if we write down things like I am going to be aligned or I am going to feel relaxed, or I'm going to pursue my dreams, then it's really kind of putting us in the mindset that things haven't happened yet. But once we start to really believe it, that's when things are going to start to manifest and come to life. So that's why I like to write down my goals in the present tense as if I've already accomplished it. And then I post it up anywhere that I can see it all the time. And I repeat it to myself over and over again until I believe it. So this is where you're going to really start to affirm what it is that you want, and get really, really clear on it. So go ahead and take a minute to write down your goal in the present tense so that you can turn it into an affirmation. All right. So now that you've started to really start to see a clearer picture of what it is that you want to work towards, the goal that you kind of have in mind for this manifestation process, just start to think about what might be holding you back. Take a few minutes to write down a list of anything that might be preventing you from living out your dream life. What's eating up your time and energy? Is there anything that you can kind of think of that's just really making you feel tired, feel run down? Is there anything that maybe once was serving you, but it's just really no longer giving you what you need? It's no longer serving you. Go ahead and just kind of write down a little list of anything that might be holding you back from living out your dream life. All right, so now moving into step 5, we're already halfway through the 8-step process. This is where we're going to start to kind of come up with a plan. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So there's so much value in spending lots of time on the mindset work and really getting in touch with what it is that we really want, figuring that out before we start to take action. But without a plan and without coming up with an action plan, a strategy to actually start to bring those dreams to life, we're never going to get anywhere. So, coming up with a sound strategy is going to boost your confidence and reassure you in your decision to pursue even the scariest of aspirations. So, go ahead and start to make a list of actionable steps that you can take to get you closer to that overarching dream. And I put together this little diagram just to kind of help you to uh, see the connection between your dream, your goals, and your resolutions. And so, like I said, I'm going to send you these slides and you'll actually be able to print this out if you want to fill it in, or you can sign up for my Lasting Happiness Challenge and you'll receive an email every day for 8 days, actually 9 days, including the welcome email. But it actually has a worksheet that you can print out, and you can start to fill out these worksheets and dive into these exercises a little deeper. And the funny thing is, like I said, I started this out as an 8-week long series, so I have no expectations for you guys to feel like you have completed this process at the end of this workshop today. Take all of the time that you need, but I hope that these resources are helpful. So go ahead and write down your dream, which is your highest aspiration. It's the desired outcome. So when you're thinking of your dream, think of your why. Think of the big picture. And then when you're thinking of your goals and when you're setting those goals, remember that that's really just the object of your ambition. It's not the end, it's the means to an end. So your dream is what you're working towards, the very big picture, and then your goals are what you're going to need to do to accomplish to get you closer to those dreams. So what's something measurable and achievable that you can do to get you closer to your dream? Now that's going to be your goal. So you might have a couple of goals that you need to accomplish to get you closer to your dream, but definitely feel free just to start with one. And these don't have to be like crazy big goals. They can be small steps, so that you're just taking your time to manifest that dream life. And then we'll break it down even further, and we'll start to come up with resolutions, which are firm decisions to take specific actions. So, which specific actions must be taken to accomplish your goals? So there's probably going to be lots of actions that you have to take to achieve a goal, just like there's going to be lots of goals that you have to set to get you closer to your dream. So take another couple of minutes and just look at this worksheet and see if you can really start to think about the difference between your dream and your goals and your resolutions and start to map those out. All right, moving on. You can do anything, but you can't do everything, and you should never feel the pressure to do everything. If there's something that you can't do on your own, don't be afraid to ask for help. So this is just a little diagram called an action priority matrix, that can really help you to uh, break down all of those maybe overwhelming steps and things on your growing to-do list. So use this chart when you're feeling overwhelmed and consider which tasks take priority and which might not be so important at the moment. And once again, feel free just to wait until you can print this out and use the worksheet. But if you want, just go ahead and take a couple minutes to use your journal or your notebook or your piece of paper and just kind of write down some of the things that are really important that you need to get done right away. And then maybe think of some things that maybe are also really important, but don't have to get done today. There's something that maybe you can plan to do as soon as possible. And as you kind of start to make this list of all of the things that need to get done, you might start to see that there are a couple things that aren't so important. So things that you can get rid of altogether. You can just, dump it. You could postpone it. I postponed this workshop because I wasn't quite ready for it. It wasn't, necessary. I was the one who kind of set that date and set that deadline for myself. So I thought, what the heck? I'll just postpone it to when I have more time to make it good, to make it what I want it to be. And then there are going to be things that are still important and that need to get done, but maybe you can kind of let go of and you can delegate to somebody else. So start to reach out for help if you need it. Start to build a team. I'm so thankful that I'm starting to build a team finally. My intern, Emily, is on the call right now, and she's just been helping me so much with social media, with even doing things that like I could never do on my own. I have no idea how to integrate different systems, like my client management systems, my email list. And she's just doing all of that research for me and taking a couple of things off of my plate to help me so that I can really spend the time doing the things that are really important and the things that only I can get done and the things that I'm really good at. So this is just going to help you to kind of free up your time so that you can be free to uh, just really do the things that you are best at and that need to get done so that you're getting closer to those dreams and achieving your goals. All right. And I think we talked a lot about the dreaming up our goals and the planning and all of that mindset work that goes into it, but at some point we're gonna have to show up and deliver on our promise. In any given moment we've got two options: to step forward into growth or to step backward into safety. So I wanted so badly just to like cancel this workshop today because I got so nervous about it, and I felt like I wanted it to be perfect, and I really just didn't have as much time to prepare for it as I think I hoped that I would. But I figured I have to hold myself accountable. I have to do what I say that I'm going to, or else I'm just going to feel really bad and I'm going to feel like I don't know. I probably would have been really hard on myself if I canceled it. So I'm happy that I showed up today, and I'm really thankful for your patience and for your support as I kind of figure out what I'm doing. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, but even when things are scary, even when you're not quite sure of how it's going to go, maybe you can't quite see that picture yet. You don't have a clear vision in your mind. At some point, we've got to show up and we've got to deliver what we have. So if you find that a goal that you've been working towards doesn't quite line up with the dreams and the feelings that you've started to realize that you really want, that you hope to manifest in your life, then remember that it's okay to pivot. We are constantly growing and changing as human beings. So it only makes sense that our goals would grow and change along with us. But how are we ever going to figure out what's working and what's not if we don't take action? So remember, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your resolutions. It's okay to just nix a goal altogether. But if just the fear of what's going to happen or what might go wrong is what's holding you back, don't let that stop you. Make sure that you show up for yourself, and then you can reevaluate and see if you need to change your path. But you got to take action at some point. There's only so much planning and dreaming and taking good care of yourself and getting in touch with your intuition and journaling and all that good stuff. There's only so much of that you can do before you really have to start to take the steps to get things done. So continue asking yourself what you want, why you want it. And when you find the answer, just keep that at the forefront of every single decision that you make, because there's going to be lots of decisions that keep coming up as we go through this process. And you can and you will see the goal through to the end if you so choose. And finally, maybe the most important step, we have to celebrate. We can't wait until we've reached our goals to be proud of ourselves. We have to celebrate every tiny victory. So as we conclude this 8-part series, there's just one really, really important lesson that I hope that you'll take away. And that is that your goals aren't the end. They're simply a means to an end. So you've set your sights on a beautiful destination, but remember that there's endless joy to be discovered along the way if you choose to stop and look. So if you brought a drink with you, we are going to just open up the floor. We can all talk a little bit. I'm so happy that I got through those slides. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a quick minute here, if I can figure out how to do that. Let's see. All right. Nope, still can't figure it out. Oh, stop share. There we go. Okay. Hi, Maddie. Hi, Emily. Eva, I know you're having dinner, so thanks again. If you guys have a drink, I'm going to crack my beer open and we can just do a little toast. I'm so proud of all of you for showing up today, for being here, and just for working towards a happier, fuller life for yourself. So congratulations.
Shannon, that was so good.
No!
Was I on not mute when my phone rang? I am so sorry.
It's totally okay. It's fine.
I was like mortified.
It's fine. I realized that I could mute you. I didn't realize I could. I feel bad that I should have just done that without even trying to call your attention to it. I'm so sorry.
No, I totally thought I was on mute. I'm so sorry. And it was like not an important call, but I was just like, okay, hold on.
No worries at all. Well, so Maddie, I know that you have a lot to celebrate. Is there anything that you want to share with us that is just like a big win that you have in your life right now?
I don't know. I was just thinking, like, whenever you were saying, like, you know, what's your ultimate goal? And like, my ultimate goal still is to own my own store. And I feel like, so Emily, just like, so, you know, like I make jewelry and I have like a shop online, but I want a brick and mortar store eventually to sell like all kinds of art, not just my own. But I just got a new job. And in my head, I'm like, well, I don't have it for sure yet. They offered it to me, but I'm like waiting for HR and I have to get a security clearance and everything. But in my head, part of me is like, this is like preventing you from your true dream of like opening a store. But then the other part of me is like, no, it's not, because it's a lot more money and I'll save the money and then I'll be able to. So you were like, you know, what's your ultimate goal? And I just feel like my ultimate goal is really far away, but like this is a step in the right direction.
It's definitely a step in the right direction. I think making a change there is just going to create more happiness and freedom. And like you said, you're going to have more money, which is going to support your business and allow you to continue to pursue that dream of opening up your own store.
Yeah, no, I am really excited about it. I think I'm just not letting myself be as excited because I'm afraid that something might happen that then I wouldn't get it. But that would be okay, you know, like if it doesn't happen, it's not meant to be.
And I think that you've already been doing such an amazing job with your jewelry business, and you're already finding so much success there, even with the stresses of your current job. So even though I think you might be a little bit worried that you're taking on another commitment and you're kind of accepting a new job that's not your dream of owning your own store someday, it's still going to be a change that just creates more joy and happiness in your life. And I think is going to give you more energy to keep going with what you're already doing such a great job at. So I think that it's all up from here.
Yeah, I am really excited about it. I think it'll be a really awesome job.
Yay, congratulations. Well, Emily, you are graduating next week. Yay! So do you mind just telling us a little bit about what you're working on, what's going on in your life, what you're celebrating?
Yes. So like the past 4 years, I have just been like constantly doing things and running, and I'm like a first generation college student. I'm the first in my family to go to college. So this is a super big deal for not only me, but my family. So I'm trying to like take time to relax, but I'm constantly thinking about like what I want to do with my life. And like ultimately I want to like help small businesses with social media. And obviously I can't do it right away, but I like got a full-time job, so I'll be like financially secure. So that's like helping me take a step in the right direction. But I'm really excited to be done with school and go on to the next chapter.
And you already are helping small businesses with social media. You're helping me.
Yes.
So thank you so much. I I don't know where I would be without you. You're helping me so much with all of the little things that just need to get done every day. I'm just so proud of you. You are just such a talented young woman, and you have your whole life ahead of you to figure out what you want, but you already have such a clear dream in mind. So, man, I
Yeah,
feel
thank
like,
you.
yes, of course. I feel like everyone needs to I like just be more like you. You are so driven. You are just like, and I know that I don't want to tell everybody that they need to like be super busy and have like these full calendars, because that can cause a lot of stress too. And I think sometimes the chaos and the busyness of working so hard can pull you away from what it is that you really want. But I know that you definitely make the time to check in, and that you're like always staying on track with your goals, and you're making sure that you're setting the right ones. So I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see what's next. And I still can't believe that we haven't met in person yet. I can't wait until we can get
In a couple
together and
weeks, in a few weeks.
we'll celebrate in a couple weeks. Awesome. And I know Eva's having dinner, so I won't ask her to share anything. But I think she could say that she celebrated just completing her first mastermind program, the Inspired Life Collective, which Maddie and I were just a part of, and we both really loved and got so much out of. So thank you, Eva. But anyway, so I'm just going to share my screen one more time as we kind of wrap things up here. Why am I so bad at this? Okay, share screen, and did I present? Here we go. I'm going to present again. Okay. Oh my goodness. I have no idea what I'm doing. Not trying to pretend like I do. So thank you guys again for just bearing with me here. But so anyway, what's next? How can we stay connected? So I would love if you would head over to Facebook or Instagram and follow me at Shannon-Chavez Production. That's definitely a way that we can stay in touch. And I actually did a live training on each step of my manifestation process in my inspiration series. So there's a video for each of the 8 steps saved to IGTV that you can go and watch for kind of like a deeper dive into each and every one of those 8 steps of the system. So head over there to find that, and to keep kind of going for a little extra support as you work through the steps on your own. So you can also tune in to my Light Up podcast, and there are episodes and show notes at shannonChavez.com, but it's also available on Spotify and iTunes, or is it Apple Podcasts? I don't know. Emily is going to be helping me to make sure that that's available everywhere that you listen to podcasts. That's something on our to-do list. So not super important, because it's available right now, and you can just go over to shannonchavez.com and find all of the episodes. But it's just really a motivational podcast. I have guests coming onto the show, people who really inspire me and influence me to pursue my passions, and to make sure that I'm constantly working towards the things that make me really, really happy. So that's another way we can stay in touch, and I hope that you'll tune in. And then you can also sign up for my Lasting Happiness Challenge. So like I said, I turned the 8-week inspiration series into an 8-day challenge. I really loved the idea initially of spreading things out to allowing you to really dive into each step and kind of take that week to really focus on each step. And I think that you can still do that. Take your time with the process, but having it spread out so much might make it hard to stay on track. So I thought instead it'd be kind of cool to make sure that you're getting an email once a day for those 8 or 9 days. And that way you can really kind of spend all of the time that you need working on those steps. And once again, I just like to remind you that it's not something that is supposed to just be done once. You're not supposed to complete the 8 steps and then feel like all of a sudden you have this dream life and you manifested it. It's something that you're going to keep working on, and you're going to keep revisiting. And it's really just going to be a cycle. And maybe you feel like you're starting at a certain point. You don't necessarily always have to start at the beginning with the dream step. Maybe you're someone who already feels like you are in touch with what you truly want, what truly makes you happy, and you have a lot of those ideas. Maybe you're kind of in that develop stage. You're mapping out a plan, but you just haven't really felt called to take action on it yet. You can always start there, but keep just revisiting that cycle. And lastly, I am in the process of turning this workshop into a complete downloadable workbook, and I would really, really love your feedback to help me to make it the best that it can possibly be. Um, One of the reasons that I postponed this in the first place was because I really wanted to have this workbook ready to go to give away today. But I don't. I don't have it ready. It's way more work than I thought to put together something like that. And I want to make sure that it's good. And I'm actually really happy that it's not done yet, because now I can really ask a few people to let me know what they thought of the program and what they thought of the material. So if you would be willing to share what you thought of today's workshop, I am going to be sending out an email after this that has the slides so that you can take your time and kind of go through the whole process again. And then there's also just going to be a survey that you can take, and it's just 3 questions. And I think Emily actually has the link, and she can share it in the notes now, or in the comments now. But if you want to wait until you get that email and you can spend a little bit more time working through the material, feel free to wait and to do that once you get the email. But there's just a survey with 3 quick questions, and I would just love to know what you think so that I can improve and make sure that that workbook is really good for you. And so also, as a thank you for your support, I'm going to send over the manifestation workbook as soon as it's ready. So I would tell you a date now, but I probably will end up pushing it back. So let's just keep it open-ended. As soon as it's ready, you're going to be the first to know. And so lastly, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy and so thankful for the community that I've found in the pursuit of my passions. And I'm full of so much joy knowing that I have so many supportive and loving friends in my corner. And it's really just because of you and your support that I feel more ready than ever to step into a life that I've always wanted for myself. And it's really just my mission to pay it forward and to give back. So that's what I'm working on. I think for a little while, I was really considering starting up like a group mentorship series or program on my own, where I would be able to meet with like-minded people virtually, like this, maybe once a week or something like that. I thought that was something that was kind of on my radar, on my to-do list for the end of this year. But I also started to realize how busy I am this year. And although I love connecting with people, and I love kind of having a chance to talk about our dreams and our goals and support each other, I also realized that the whole reason that I wanted to do that was to kind of have more freedom in my life. And I already have so much going on. It just doesn't really seem realistic to start up some kind of program with such a big commitment like that this year. I'm getting married this summer. I already have lots of work booked up for this year. So I just want to make sure that I'm not spreading myself too thin like I've done in the past. I don't want to burn out. I want to make sure. Eva and Mac, what are you guys doing? Hi. Sorry.
Sorry. I had to drop off stuff for Arya's party after the rehearsal, so we wanted to say hi.
Look at that cute doggo. Hello.
We've been listening, sorry.
That's okay. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much. Well, anyway, like I was saying, I felt really inspired by people like Eva, by other mentors that I was kind of watching that were putting together these virtual spaces for people to connect. But I've kind of pivoted away from that goal. It might be something that I want to do down the road. But for now, I am going to celebrate the fact that I did this workshop, that we got through the slides. And I am going to stop sharing my screen again here so that I can see all of your beautiful faces for the very end. And we can just kind of talk and remember that it's always okay to change your mind. Just make sure that you're keeping those big picture dreams at the forefront of every decision that you make. And yes, together, we're going to be able to manifest those happy and full lives for each other. But always make sure that you continue to reach out to people who inspire you, to ask for help, and just to surround yourself with people who make you happy and make you feel good. Thank you guys all so much for joining me today. This was so much fun. And I just want to do one last cheers to everyone. I might be the only one drinking here, which Emily, go grab a shot if that's all you have. But cheers to you guys. Thank you so much.